Right before I came up here, my classmate Rudy Checky slipped me a card, and on one side it says, "From everyone in this room with love." And I turn it over, and it's printed. It says, "Stop talking." The speech is going to start out strong and then just kind of taper off. My people are here to see me have a bet going on as to how many minutes into the speech it'll be before Helene Strong unleashes her henchmen on me. So we'll see how we do. I thank you, Ed, for the introduction and the kind words. As I said, wow. And I want to thank everybody who made this great event possible tonight. Jack Breslowski, Mr. President, and everyone at Xavier's Office of Advancement and Alumni Relations, especially the person who makes it all happen, the Hall of Fame coordinator, Helene Strong, or as she's known around 16th Street, she who must be obeyed. She told me I have 4 minutes tonight. When I saw that, I emailed Jack. We were emailing about something else, and I said, "Jack, you know, you told me last fall I had 8 minutes, and here I am." And he goes, he says, "Ignore Helene. Talk for 8 minutes. Don't go 10, or you're a dead man." Oh, here I am. How am I doing, Helene, for time? I'm done. Okay. I want to thank all of you who are here tonight. The people that are here from me, there are a couple. You honored me with your presence. They include my family, and particularly my. We'll start with my sister and brothers, my sisters and brother, Maureen O'Hara. And her husband, Steve, and my sister Peggy, her husband Ed, my brother Kevin, and his wife Lynn, my two sons, Liam O'Hara, who's, despite what the program says, he got out in 2004, and Karen got out in 2006. And lastly, but first, in my life and my heart, my wife Kathleen. Kathleen is she's a person I met just at the right time in my life. Some would say just in the nick of time in my life. She probably saved my life, probably literally. She was born and raised in County Cork. She's modest in all things. At our wedding, she didn't want to be the center of attention. She's that kind of a person. She's the most unassuming person you'd ever want to meet. She warned me tonight not to mention her in the speech, and once again, I'm ignoring her, as I usually do. But I want, and I just say, sorry, Kathleen, but I want these people to know that you are the rock of our family and the light of my life. So. My sons Liam and Kieran are here tonight. They followed me to 16th Street and into the sport of rugby. Both played all 4 years at Xavier, all 4 years in college. Liam captained his team at Binghamton, and Kieran captained his team at Albany. Liam is an officer in the NYPD today. He's in the street narcotics unit up in East Harlem. His mother is thrilled. I hear some of the stories, his mother hears none. The NYPD and the FDNY rugby teams are both playing in the World Police and Fire Games in Belfast this August, and there'll be a lot of former 16th Street kids going over back to the old side for that, you can bet. Liam will be there with the NYPD rugby team. Kieran is going for his master's degree in education at Brooklyn College. He plays for the New York Athletic Club. His goal is to teach history and coach rugby. So, the sins of the father are, et cetera, et cetera. He's also looking for a job right now while he's going to graduate school. He's right over there. He's brought copies of his resume. The year before last, in 2011, Kieran was simultaneously coaching rugby at Xavier and Fordham Prep, where our own Ed Tweedy had recruited Kieran to help him reestablish that rugby program after a 25-year hiatus. My former players will be interested to hear that they actually pay rugby coaches now. And Kieran drew a paycheck from both programs at the same time, which was quite a feat, as well as a third from Play Rugby USA. I told him that in the 43 years our family has been involved with the sport, he's the only guy smart enough to actually make any money from it. I also want to thank my classmates and also my teammates from Xavier football back in these mainly be the guys from '69 and '70. All guys have played football with me. There's a little competition going on between the class of '70 and '69 tonight as far as who's going to have the most guys here from the team. I think '70 might have won barely. We'll check it out later on. I want to thank my former faculty and coaching colleagues from Xavier that are here tonight, particularly Vin Biaggi and Joe Lux. I was very happy to see that they were going to be here tonight. Vinny and Joe married me and Kathleen. We figured, Kathleen wanted 2 priests to make sure that, that this thing was sealed. And they also baptized my children. They obviously I'm very close to them. I'm glad that very glad that they're here tonight. I want to thank my players. I think Ed might have mentioned that I coached football and rugby at Xavier back in the day, and a lot of those players are here tonight. I want to thank them, for coming out tonight. By the way, a lot of people I'm mentioning, all these people, my family, et cetera, a lot of people came from a long way, and I can't tell you, your presence honors me. I'm floored. I also want to thank. I'm going to get to the rugby guys later on, so behave yourselves because yeah. I'm very nervous about the rugby guys. I coach rugby at Xavier, the Outlaws. We'll talk about them later. I saw an email earlier today. There was an email for the rugby team to meet at Moran's at 5 o'clock for kazoo practice. I don't know what that means. I'm hoping they hold. We'll see what happens. Let me speed this up. Thank you. My former coaches that came up here tonight, back in the day when they did it out of the love of the game, they didn't know Xavier, they didn't get paid, they did it for the love of the game, they did it because they were my friends. Larry Fox, Carl Ham. Larry came up from Florida, Carl Ham came up from North Carolina. My assistant coach, Nigel Milton, who became the head coach. The first guy to lead Xavier to a national championship. He flew in from London to come to this. He sent me an email a few days ago. He said, "Tom, I'm only flying in for 2 days. Please make your speech short." Call the airport, Nigel. They'll wait. I was kind of hoping Father Keenan would be here tonight. Father Keenan, he's not here, is he? No. I hope he's okay. Father Keenan, before I get to Father Keenan, I want to thank everybody, all the brave souls responsible for putting me in the Hall of Fame tonight, primarily Jim Tierney, Rudy Checky. There were some others, but they wish to remain anonymous, I think. Everybody who did it, Thank you. The let me edit this here a little bit. Yeah. Let me say, I'm sorry Father Keenan's not here because he's my old boss. He was the president of Xavier back when I was a teacher and a coach. I believe I can say with great confidence that when I left 16th Street in June 1980 to return to sea as a Merchant Marine officer, neither Father Keenan nor I ever envisioned that something like this would happen. The guys that are all laughing the hardest know what I mean. You people are constantly thanking me for all the e-newsletters and e-blasts I sent out on behalf of Xavier Football and Xavier Rugby, and for all the media coverage I've been able to secure over the years. You assume that I'm doing it out of the great love that I have for Xavier. I do love Xavier, but the fact of the matter is I'm still working off. People don't know there's such a thing as faculty detention. I left Xavier 30 years ago, 32 years ago, almost 33 years ago. And I'm still working them off. Father Keenan says I only have to keep writing these things for about another 15 years or so. 20 tops, probably. To be serious for a second, in one of the several careers I had in life, I sailed for a time in the Merchant Marine, first as a cadet during sea year at the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and then as a deck officer. I managed to sail into the middle of two wars, Vietnam and a civil war in Mozambique. I survived storms at sea in which other ships were lost. I had encounters with pirates, once while anchored outside Santos, Brazil, once while moored in a river in Mombasa, Kenya. Fortunately, in those days, they only had machetes, not automatic weapons and RPGs, so it was fun. I once had to run for my life through the streets of Mogadishu in Somalia. I'm happy to say that was many years before Mogadishu became the apocalyptic hellscape that you saw in Black Hawk Down. But I can never remember being more nervous than I am right now. Standing in front of so many accomplished, successful men and women. I am also humbled to be among this group of Hall of Fame inductees, who include 3 beloved former Xavier headmasters, 2 giants from the corporate world, a groundbreaking former Xavier teacher, the beautiful Grace, who we taught together back in the day, and when Father Keenan and Father O'Donnell, the headmaster then, were after my scalp. It was Grace who was one of my protectors, one of the people who looked out for me. So I was fortunate enough to see Grace when she came to that beefsteak dinner that her son Hank was talking about. I knew then that she wouldn't be here tonight. You know, she's a tough, brave woman. I really wish she was standing here alongside me tonight. Finally, let me throw out a whole lot of stuff. I want to pay tribute to my father, Tom O'Hara, class of '43. He's why I came to Xavier. He loved Xavier. He bled maroon and blue, and so on. He was an FBI agent. J. Edgar Hoover exiled him out to Cleveland when I was in first grade. We came back after my sophomore year at St. Ignatius. I was not happy. This is probably not a. Probably being inducted into the Hall of Fame is probably not a good time to confess for the first time that after my first semester as a junior at Xavier, I tried to transfer. Um, I came from a Jesuit school in Cleveland. I loved it there. Didn't want to go. Came out here. You know, it was. I'm trying to edit myself here. It was a great school. I didn't want to come. I didn't want to come back to New York. Wasn't happy here for a whole bunch of reasons. I'll spare you. I'm going to get up. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. Here we go. You know what? My father's why I came to Xavier. He's why I came back as a coach and a teacher. And I accept this award tonight, not so much for myself, but for him. And lastly, I accept it for my players, my first players, my rugby players from the old Xavier Outlaws. We all know what Xavier Rugby is today. 30-something years ago, when it was a club, these were the guys that played for the love of the game, not for glory, for no other reason. I'm going to go off with these. Before I go, I want these guys to stand. All the Xavier Outlaws and the Xavier coaches from back in the day, if you would please stand.